Hey folks, and welcome to Drinking Alone with Friends, a podcast where three friends drink alone together. My name's Chris.
My name's Ted.
And I'm Obert.
And, you know, the journey was long and tenuous, but it's finally over.
What the journey where?
Did you finish watching Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
No.
The extended version, man.
The extended version. Yeah, I started them 8 years ago. Yeah. Finally finished. No, this is a very special episode for the 31st episode. As is tradition, all 31st episodes of podcasts are very, very important episodes.
Right.
Oh, yes, as we all know.
Right, as time-honored tradition. But we all finally have our own barrel-aged Ten Fidy that has been untainted by me destroying it in a freezer.
I'm still so angry at that. I've had that for so long.
We both got to try it.
That's true.
That is true. Yeah,
I've had mine in the fridge for as long, and I've been wanting to drink it. I just keep staring at me in the face, and now finally tonight's the night we're all gonna crack in.
But that can was like from the one that Chris destroyed was from like 2015 or 2014. Like it was old.
Yeah,
I had been aging it for a long time.
Well, you were able to replace it, and I think that's what matters most.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So,
I have a question for you, Chris.
Okay.
What's the status of Toad Mountain these days? Have you been scaling it recently? Do you need oxygen still? Oxygen tanks at the top?
So, Toad Mountain is being slowly eroded by the carpet sea, and
Toad Hill now.
It's like Toad Plateau or something. Okay. Like it's not really quite. It's not quite a hill.
You've been strip mining the Toad Mountain and just leveling it.
Yes. Yeah. We've been slowly but surely putting away things and removing toads from Toad Mountain. There's still quite a few toads, but the important things are plugged in, like the beer fridge and the TV and the video games and things of that nature.
The super important things.
Yeah, right. You know, the big things.
The big tray there.
Yeah, right. I think the beer fridge got plugged in before putting CJ's crib together, to be honest. But but that's also together now, so he's sleeping in his comfortable crib now. So, but yeah, so we're getting there. We have some visitors coming this week already. So my dad's coming down. Yeah.
Nice.
So he'll be hanging out with us.
He's going to get lost in Toad Mountain. You're going to have to build him like a cavern to get through it.
I probably could. I could make him his own room if he wanted.
Yeah. I think we covered that last time.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. We could add on additions.
Right.
But it's been good. I can finally drive to work without my GPS. So that was a bonus. That was a small win. Yeah.
Yeah. How long is your commute?
It's 20 minutes.
Okay, that's not too bad.
But the thing is, and I haven't had a commute like this since living in Lisbon. I think it's no highway; it's all back roads.
Okay.
So you have to learn all the turn-in lefts and turn-in rights. And one thing that I'm noticing about North Carolina, which I didn't notice about Tennessee, is that there are roads that are very narrow, 2-lane roads, and the speed limit is like 55 miles an hour.
Oh, it's just like Ross Hill Road if the speed limit was what people actually drove on it.
Exactly. Precisely, yes.
Yeah.
So, but that's just one thing that, like, I'll be driving, I'll be like, oh man, I'm going 50, and then someone flies up behind me, I'm like, oh, I'm 5 miles under the speed limit. Whoops.
Time for a little truth for everybody who's listening. What's the fastest you've gone on Ross Hill Road?
Oh.
I never made it to triple the speed limit.
Okay.
75? Okay.
Yeah, I never made it 75.
I don't think I did either.
I think I hit 90 coming up the hill one time. Like the big hill.
Up the hill?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was always down the hill. I would just...
Yeah, that sounds
unsafe.
You would hit that.
Yeah. Well, except for there's that curve, like right near Miss Gauthier's house that you have to watch out for.
Yeah, once you come around that curve, as you're going up the hill, because you don't have a stop sign over there, so you can hit the apex of the hill and keep on flying down the hill.
Yeah, that's true. Now, I think I would have to say maybe 60 or 65.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at.
So
yeah,
but
anybody, all the listeners, write in. What's the fastest you've gone on Ross Hill Road?
Right, we want to know. We want to hear from our listeners.
Yeah, I promise we are not cops. Wink, wink, wink. Wait.
I actually had, you know how the police officer, Officer Washburn, lived in Strawberry Fields?
Mm-hmm.
He was following me down Ross Hill Road one time and got on the loudspeaker in his car and told me to drive faster. And so then as I was going faster, at one point he got on and said, slow down.
Not that fast.
All right, easy.
That's funny. Yeah.
The third time he's like, all right, right there.
Yeah, that's the perfect speed.
Right. Yeah.
So this was really good audio for everybody who lives outside of Connecticut.
Right. Anybody who didn't grow up with us.
Or not on our road, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right. Now that we got that narrow casting out of the way, let's crack these open.
So
yeah.
So first, before we do that,
okay,
we should introduce our individual beers by saying what day they were canned on and what does the can say.
Okay, yeah, let's take a step back, because for people who haven't been following us on our journey, we are all drinking the same beer tonight. It's from Oscar Blues, a brewery out of Colorado. It's their Ten Fidy Imperial Stout, aged in bourbon barrels. It's 12.9%. We each have a tall, what is this, 22-ounce can?
They're
19.2 ounce can.
Yeah, 1.3.2 ounces.
That's an oddly specific. That must convert to something in metric. I don't know. But so to answer your question, Tud, mine was canned on 11/10/17, and it's bigger than the Boogeyman. Is what mine says.
Chris?
So mine's the baby of the group because I for those of you that listened, I was the one that was dragging my feet on getting one. Mine was canned on 10/19/18, so just about a year younger than Obert's beer. And mine says whiskey business.
And mine was canned on November 7th, 2017, so 3 days earlier than Obert's. And it says, I barely recognize you. And barely is spelled barrel with an L-Y at the end. So it's
nice.
It's a lot of L's in barely.
Barely. I think I learned in Spanish class that that's pronounced like a Y.
Yeah, barely.
So, Obert, our beers are brothers.
Yeah,
or sisters, or related.
We'll have to figure out which one, if the extra 3 days of aging or 4 days of aging really helps.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And mine's like a cousin, a younger cousin that like you don't want to hang out with or something.
Right. Yeah, we all have that one cousin who's always trying to hang out with the group.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and you're always like, get out of here, cousin.
All right, so might as well get into it, huh?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Ted, I don't think I heard your crack.
Yeah.
That's because I'm going to provide some background on what I did.
Strong raisiny aromas here.
I cracked mine and poured it. That way it would start to heat up a little bit or not be as cold. That way I could get a little bit more of the notes.
Wow. This is really, really heady beer.
That was another issue I had.
It's looks like motor oil pouring it into this glass.
It does. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. What is the SRM on this?
Somewhere, I think around 1.6 quadrillion.
It's one of the best ones yet.
Like, I'm holding it up to a light bulb right now, and I cannot see the light bulb through the beer at all.
All right, so before I dig in here, because like I said, I got a little bit of head to recede. What are you guys smelling through here?
I smell a lot of bourbon.
Yeah, I definitely get that. A lot of the bourbon aroma.
I smell some coffee, too.
Any cocoa?
No, I smell sweet. I smell something sweet. I don't smell any cocoa, though.
Yeah, I get the bourbon real strong, and I do get like a sweetness to it, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe some vanilla.
That's possible.
Yeah, and hashtag fun fact, we said Oscar Blues is out of Colorado. They also have a brewery in Asheville, so not too far away from you, Chris.
Hey, look at that. Maybe I'll go there someday.
Yeah.
Tell them, hey, you probably heard of us. We talked about your beer ×3.
Okay, so are we ready to do this? And
I think so.
Take the inaugural sip?
Yeah, let's go for it. All right, bottoms up, guys.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
All right, initial thoughts?
I like it.
Bold statement from Ted. The beer is good.
It's not as it's not as boozy as I thought it was going to be.
No, I completely agree. It's really smooth for
being a
13%.
Yeah. 13% beer right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, I mean, you get that bourbon flavor, which I enjoy, but there's a lot of like, sweet, like, and like almost like toasted sweetness. I don't know exactly what it is. Can't put my finger on it.
Toasted banana.
Roasted toasted banana. That is, it's really, really good. It mellows it out.
There's definitely hints of vanilla. Is it maple syrup? Is that, is that the sweetness?
Yeah, it does remind me a little bit of that, what is that, the KBS or CBS, the Kentucky bourbon?
The CBS has maple syrup in it. I know that.
Maybe that's, I get that. This reminds me a lot of that beer from Founders.
Yeah, it's good though. I mean, it's very, very smooth, and the more I drink it, the more I get more of that like almost like bitter kind of aftertaste. Like, I don't know exactly how to pinpoint it, but
I taste a lot of like a cookie. Like it tastes a lot like it says on the can half baked, and I just keep on thinking of the Ben & Jerry's ice cream half baked.
That's probably what's in there,
and it kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
I don't know if I've had the Ben & Jerry's half baked.
I feel like you've been living life wrong.
No, It's because fish food is the best.
Fish food is one of my all-time Ben & Jerry's favorites. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The half-baked is so much better.
Can I read some of the tasting notes from Beer Advocate and see if you guys agree with them?
Okay. I feel like it's going to be like super boozy. Not sweet at all.
This Titanic, immensely viscous stout, and I will agree with that, like I said with the motor oil comment earlier, is loaded with intimable flavors. Like intimidatable? I don't know. Intimable flavors of chocolate-covered caramel and coffee, and hides a hefty 98 IBUs. So good call on the bitterness there, Chris. Underneath the smooth blanket of malt. It's made with enormous amounts of two-row malt, chocolate malt, roasted barley, flaked oats, and hops.
So I definitely agree with the coffee. I get a ton of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Basically what they're saying is that it's got really good flavor, and you don't really notice that it's 13% alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with anything. The one thing that I would probably challenge, which clearly I'm wrong, is that I don't get a ton of chocolate out of it. So maybe that's the sweetness that I'm getting more so.
Well,
but
I did mess up. That was the original 1050. That wasn't the barrel-aged one that I read the description of. The barrel-aged says more espresso, burnt sugar. I definitely get that molassesy flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Rich chocolate, caramel notes are now driven alongside the vanilla, oak, and bourbon from the barrel and have been smoothed out during maturation.
That makes sense because I can see how bourbon is going to overpower like a more vanilla and chocolate. So it kind of makes sense. It's a good beer though. I mean, I've had half of one before, so. But I don't know. It's enjoyable for 12.9%.
Yeah. Untapped describes it as smooth, boozy, dark, thick, and sweet.
Yeah, I would say it's all of those things. I don't know. Maybe this is my hot take here, but I feel like a lot of times when I'm having Russian Imperial Stouts, which I don't know if this is Russian or not. I don't know what makes a Russian Imperial Stout Russian, but I feel like a lot of them taste very similar to me. I'd like to do a flight of a few of them and compare them and see what flavors different ones bring.
The over-the-top booziness that these beers have that makes them kind of all seem similar. Like I've had a 20 like number 21 Old Rasputin before.
Oh yeah.
And this kind of reminds me exactly of that. And granted, I'm not drinking them side by side, but I think they taste I would tell you they tasted exactly the same.
Yeah. I had another sip of Ivan the Terrible, the barrel-aged version of that at the Brewfest yesterday that I went to on the ski mountain here. And that I think was a little bit, you felt the alcohol more. I think that was one thing we all said when we tasted this 1050 is it hides the alcohol well. Some other Russian Imperial Stouts, you definitely get that alcohol burn in your nose a little more.
Right.
Than with this. I think it's a little more mellow.
That's the shock.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you have 3 sips? Because then you can really savor it.
Oh, yeah. You have to get to the savor.
So I think it's interesting because, we talked about it a little bit off air, but Obert's had his out of the fridge for an hour Tud poured his beforehand to let it like warm up and aerate or whatever the hell beer does, and I took mine like right out of the fridge before we recorded. Now, granted, it's a fridge I'm not used to, but it still like tastes fine. I don't know how it's going to change as it warms up, but we're saying a lot of the same things, even though mine's colder than yours, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I think maybe as the show goes on, you'll be like, oh yeah, now I get what you and Ted were saying about XYZ as yours warms up.
Yeah.
But no, I think we're all on the same page, and I think for our first 3-person beer review of the same beer, I think it went pretty well. I think we all kind of got the same things out of it.
Yeah, I think they. I mean, there's a reason they make it every year, you know. And
actually, this is the second 3-beer review we've done.
What was the first one?
It was our first Face Your Beers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
The Helma.
With the was that the hamburgers and fries?
Hamburgers and fries.
That's right. That's a good point. Good memory, Ted. That's a good
call. So to conclude, unless you guys have more to say, I don't know a better way of doing this than just counting to 3 and then all of us shouting into our microphone what our rating out of 5 is.
Yeah, I think I feel like that's the most economical way of doing it.
For a podcast for audio, that sounds like the worst way to do it. But yeah, that sounds good. The most confusing way for our listeners. Let's do that
one. All right. Okay, ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3,
4.25.
Oh, we all agree.
Okay, all right, sweet. Hey,
for everybody.
Wow.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay.
Wow,
so then
we're all on the same page.
There we go.
Let's cheers to that. Cheers to that, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. We're actually, and that's weird because like you're a tough grader, Obert. So
yeah, I mean, so the reason for me it's not a 4 or 4.5 is it's so well balanced it breaks that 4 barrier for me. You know, this is a beer you want to really savor and enjoy. It's not a beer you're going to drink every single day. But to make this a 4.5, it would have to be just above and beyond every other barrel-aged Imperial Stout I've had. And I think we all kind of agree this, like we said, this kind of falls in line with most of the other Imperial Stouts barrel-aged we've had. Yeah. So
it's fantastic. It just doesn't knock my socks off.
Right. Yeah. It's very good, but it's not breaking any new ground.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Do you think when I check it in on Untappd, do you think that Labyrinth Brewing Company minds that I tag that I'm always drinking at their bar?
No.
Probably not.
Do they have one of those screens that shows the check-ins?
Yes.
Oh, then they might. Then they actually might. If people are like, I'll have the 10 Fidy. You guys have that? Like, no, that's our neighbor.
That's how close I live to this brewery. That this location, it's the closest thing to where I am.
Labyrinth Brewing folks, write in. Let us know if you mind seeing Tud's face dominating your scoreboard every night.
I walked in. Tired of him putting the stickers all over.
I walked in there the other day, and I was drinking, and Caitlin and I were doing half pours, and my name was all across the bottom. It was just me.
You were like that kid who's played that arcade machine for too long and has the high score initials for every single spot.
TUD. Yeah. Who is this guy? Yeah, I always do that though. Like whenever I go into a brewery, within like 15 minutes, I have all of the spots on Untappd.
You're like, I win.
So, I beat it. I beat you. Dominated. So, oh man, yeah, that's funny.
So, Obert, you were saying that you went to a brewfest this weekend.
Yep. So a couple weeks ago, I went to that one in Big Fork. This one was actually not in Big Fork, but
in Little Fork?
On Big Mountain.
Small Spoon.
Oh.
Yeah. On the
Sharp Knife.
On Big Mountain, aka Whitefish Mountain Resort. And it was the proceeds of the brewfest went to support the shuttle that drives people from the mountain to town and vice versa. It's like a free shuttle that goes year round.
Nice.
I gotta say though, it was not the most impressive beer fest I've been to. There was a lot of Montana breweries, but not a lot of Flathead Valley breweries. Like the small local breweries didn't make it because it was limited. There's maybe only 14 breweries, if I had to guess. And they got crowded out, I think, by the bigger names. Like Oscar Blues was there. Sierra Nevada was there.
That's pretty cool that Oscar Blues is there, because I've never seen Oscar Blues at any beer fest I've been to.
Yeah. Well, Montana, we kind of adopt Colorado beer as part of us.
Okay. You steal them.
Yeah. Yeah, but I would have loved to have seen some of my favorite local breweries in the valley, Sacred Waters and Bonsai, and the brew pubs that are around that bring some interesting stuff. The breweries that showed up, they didn't bring their A game other than Big Sky. Like I said, they brought their Ivan the Terrible, which I reviewed a couple weeks ago on the podcast. But
the #1 beer in Montana, I believe.
It was. Good memory. I did get some swag,
like an elephant.
Yeah, which is going to be included in the beer box giveaway. I won a hat. I had to know some Lewis and Clark trivia from Lewis and Clark Brewery. But I stood there and waited until I heard a question I knew the answer to, and then I won the hat just for our lucky listener who's going to win.
What was the question? Can you do me a favor? Tell us the question, but don't tell us the answer. And we're gonna have the general pop email us in with the answer.
Okay.
I feel like that's too easy. You could probably just Google it.
Well, this is the thing. I want them to actually take a stab at it without Googling it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a fun game to play with our listeners.
Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Email us the answer to this following question.
Yeah. So Lewis and Clark Brewery has a 12-pack of like a mixed 12-pack, and it's named after the actual name of the mission that Lewis and Clark were on. It's a 3-word title, is what the name of their
operation mission.
Yeah. The name of their company, I guess you could say, that they took out exploring the Louisiana Purchase with. It had an official name. Like I said, it's 3 words long, and I only knew the answer because that's what they call their mixed 12-pack as well.
Okay.
Okay.
But that was the question
That's
I got
cool.
right to win the hat. That's going to be part of the brewfest. Or no, that's going to be part of the beer box giveaway from Montana.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
One more thing about Lewis and Clark, just kind of curious from my own personal thoughts. Why are they big in Montana for a reason? Like, are they famous in Montana for any particular reason? Did they found Montana? Like, what happened?
Yeah, I kind of asked those questions too. Like, why do we get? Because we have like Lewis and Clark Wilderness area. There's also like the Lewis and Clark Brewery. Lewis and Clark Pass is where they cross the Continental Divide in Montana. They were the first Europeans, I guess, to discover, well, maybe discover is not the right word, but explore Montana and introduce it to the rest of the United States. So that's why so much of the things around here are, an homage to them.
Cool.
Oh, interesting.
Learn something new.
Yeah.
See, history lesson here on Drinking Alone with Friends.
Yeah. But yeah, write in with that trivia answer. We want to hear if you know your Lewis and Clark.
And don't cheat.
Yeah. Don't cheat.
Yeah, if
we'll
you
know
cheat,
if you
we'll
cheat.
know.
Yeah. We'll know for sure.
Exactly.
We'll just ask Google, be like, did this person cheat? And they'll say yes.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. And also, I think our Montana listeners have a little bit of an advantage on this one because they probably bought the 12-pack.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's cool. Any other really interesting beers at the Brewfest?
Homestead Ales, which I might have talked about on the early episodes of this podcast. They're in the middle of nowhere, north of here. They had a sake IPA. Not for me, but it was the most unique beer at the Brewfest for sure.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Was it aged in like a sake barrel? Like
It was like a rice beer. I think they made it with rice. I'm not sure. I didn't ask them all the specifics, but it tasted like sake. I like sake kind of warmer, like warm
maybe
sushi.
Maybe it was just sake.
No, it was carbonated and tasted like a beer, and it was an IPA supposedly. But they won points for originality at the Brewfest for sure.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah. What have you got? What's been new in the drinking lives of Chris and Tud? I went to a Brewfest. You guys drink anything exciting?
So I went to Philly this weekend.
Nice.
For a wedding. Hashtag Congratulations, Kyle and Molly.
That was their hashtag for their wedding?
No, they didn't have one. Or
I assume they would have come up with something more creative than that.
Cheers to the Carmona. I'll say cheers to the Carmonas. How about that?
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Okay. Well, cheers.
We went on Saturday before the wedding. We went to 2 different breweries just to see what was going on in Philly with the beer scene. One of them was Yards Brewing Company, which is kind of like they kind of do like English style beers. So like their IPA is an English IPA. They do sweet bitters. They do all the English style beers. So that was pretty good. They have a really cool spot. The beer was beer. I mean,
it's English style.
Right. It's not going to burn the world down, but it was solid for what it was, and their spot more than made up for it. And then we walked over to Goose Island because they have a brewery in Philly. And that was packed. We only got 1 beer and we left because it was so busy. But what I had there was called Call of the Achung, and it was okay. It wasn't anything spectacular. The thing with Goose Island...
3 1/4?
I think it was 3 1/4.
Okay.
The thing with Goose
That's
Island
pretty much a drain pour for Obert.
They're owned by Anheuser-Busch, so they're very, very corporate, everything's pretty much the same, except for each individual brewery. I think they have 3 of them now, they said. They brew a few different beers that are just in-house beers. So that's why I got the Call of the Achung, because it was something
cool.
that Goose Island isn't going to sell again. They just made it for their brewery, sell it there, and it's gone.
Oh, that's cool.
What style was it?
It was an IPA. They don't do a New England style IPA. Obviously, it's not New. Philly's not in New England. Surprise, surprise. So it's
what?
And like I said, they're very corporate. So, but they have a cool brewery. I wish there was less people there so I could have drank a little bit more of their beer. But I'm actually Kyle's probably happy I didn't drink any more beer because I would have been drunk for his wedding. So.
Well, sacrifices we often make. I'm sure that he appreciated that, Ted.
Yeah, one of our other friends who will not be named showed up a little drunk to the wedding.
But no, that did lead me to ask an interesting question to you guys. When you go to a wedding and it's, a pretty well-stocked bar, and it's open bar, do you have a go-to for drinks? Or what's your game plan when after the wedding ceremony is over and it's time to start really seriously drinking? What do you guys do? So
as somebody who just did this yesterday, allow me to answer that question. First of all, we drank the building out of Bud Light, so we have to cheers that one because that was a good win for us.
Okay.
But
we
usually
did it. We beat the wedding.
Yeah.
Usually I start out with drinking Bud Lights, just because they're light, they're easy, they're not high in alcohol. They usually get me in the mood to go dancing.
What does a Bud Light weigh in at? Like 4.2?
Yeah. So it's very, very light on the alcohol. With about like 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours left, when I'm like, all right, we're leaving and going to bed pretty much after this, I'll switch to vodka seltzers just because they're low on calorie, but they're also a little bit higher in alcohol content.
Get you messed up.
Yeah, and as I get more drunk, I become the world's best dancer.
Right.
So. And that is really the goal. That's like when like the tie comes off, the shirt comes untucked, the sleeves get rolled up. Like I start to like
the sleeve rolling up that's the big part. That's how you know you're primed.
Right,
the sleeves are rolled.
The important thing is Ted doesn't switch over to the vodka seltzers too early, vodka sodas too early, because then it would just scare everybody else off the dance floor because it's just like, oh well, we can't compete with that.
Right.
He's too good a dancer
for the end of the night. Yeah,
just the straight up sex appeal of me on the dance floor.
Yeah.
After 4 hours of vodka seltzers is just people want to deal with that.
Like there's grandmas there, right? Like you gotta, you don't want to
send the children to bed.
Yeah. You don't want to give them heart conditions, right?
Right. We want everybody to live through the wedding.
Yeah.
That's good. That's some good pro tips.
Chris, how about you?
So, it depends on what they have for beer. Because, I'm not against housing a few Bud Lights, but if I'm at a wedding, I'm probably going to just, get... Generally, my go-to is, a rum and Coke of some thing. That's, my standard. If I'm feeling a little frisky, I'll do, a Santo Libre, but other than that, other than that, I'll just do rum and Cokes because it's easy. Everybody knows how to make one.
The Cuba Libre.
I also try to friend up the bartender. And
Oh yeah, I'm always
So
the
they
one
think
who's like,
I think
I'll leave
that's
like a
critical.
5 behind to start the night just to know like we're on this game right now, bartender.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
You got if there's one friend you have to make at a wedding or anywhere really, it's the bartender. So
Yeah.
for those of you that are mean to your bartenders, y'all are doing it wrong.
Well, like no
but,
one's slipping the priest to 20 at weddings.
Hey,
No
put
one's
some extra God stuff in there.
Yeah, right.
No, but I mean, I might start off with a beer or two, unless they have like a good craft beer. That'll probably just stick to that for a lot of the night. But
Are you going to enjoy my wedding or what?
I hope so. And but I'll generally will stick with rum and cokes throughout the night, and of course, I'm out there dancing after a few and singing to most of the songs. So sleeves get rolled up, like Ted was saying. That's it's all over then.
Yeah. Once the
Yeah.
guns come out.
Yeah, once the forearms come out, you're done.
Covered in that sweat sheen, you know. Yeah.
Your shirt becomes like translucent. People can see your nipples. It's just it's an awesome look.
Yeah, it's a great look. So it was actually funny. A friend of the pod, Jason, when he got married a couple years ago now, I guess. I don't remember. It's been a while. But when he got married, he texted me afterwards. He's like, "You're in like every picture of the dance floor." I was like, "Yeah." Yeah, I definitely danced a lot at that wedding. That was a lot of fun. So
No,
I like weddings.
well, the reason I asked this question is because
Well, I was going to ask, what's your approach?
I
Ted's
don't.
getting married.
I do a bad one. I have a bad approach.
This is the bad one.
My approach is to see how high I can get the number of different drinks that I have. Like, I will mix beer, I will mix wine, I will mix champagne, I will mix dark liquor, I will mix light liquor. I am always regretting my decisions the morning after a wedding.
So you break all of the drinking rules that you break.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way of approaching the situation.
Well, I admitted it was wrong. I admit it's bad. It's a bad
He let
way
off
to
with
do weddings. But what you do the red wine with dinner. There's obviously going to be the toast. You probably want a beer when you're hanging out playing yard games. The little cocktail hour they do now between the wedding and the dinner.
Yeah.
And when I'm faced with an open bar, I'm just like, I just want to set my creative juices start flowing, and I want a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Tequila, vodka, gin, rum, whatever, you name it, I'm drinking it.
I will say I think I drank 4 different types of booze. Beer, vodka, I had a glass of champagne with a toast, obviously. And then I had one old fashioned just because the bartender was talking about how good she was at old fashions.
Oh.
So
yeah.
she made me an old fashioned with throwback to a couple episodes ago, with Old Granddad whiskey. And it was actually pretty good.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. Maybe that's just good old fashioned whiskey.
Well, right. It's a whiskey that needs to have extra flavors added to it in order for it to be drinkable.
Right. Like Captain Morgan's not my favorite rum, but Captain and Coke is Captain and Coke, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's just a go-to staple if you're just looking to drink something good.
Yeah. So with all of this being said, Todd, it sounds like you have grand plans for your wedding. You told me when you were looking for wedding venues, the capability of a wedding venue to serve craft beer was really important.
It was a question that we asked every single venue we saw. The venue we chose informed us that if they could get it,
they will.
That they would serve it for me.
That's exciting.
They also allowed me the ability, and this was at the time when one of the members of the podcast was my brewing buddy, and he's since moved away. They also informed me that if I brewed my own beer and kegged it, that they would serve it as well.
Oh.
So I could kind of do it as like my signature drink or as a favor. They would pour it as long as their bartenders regulated the pouring of it. It's allowed. So I don't know if we're going to do that anymore because I live
that ship may have or may not have sailed.
Right. Like I live in an apartment. My brewing buddy lives in North Carolina, and I just don't think that's going to happen anymore. But
it's April at this point, and your wedding.
I'd have to brew it next week.
You'd have to start planning it out right now. So it's a make or break moment, Todd.
Right.
And we're saying, I think we're saying here right now, it's break.
It's break.
Breaked.
But what is going to happen is we are going to request certain craft beers. Basically, just give them a list and say, order 2 or 3 of these off this list and serve them.
Okay.
That's a good idea. See, that's the kind of wedding where I would probably drink beer most of the night until they're gone.
Hey, you can if you drink the place out of beer, that's an accomplishment.
They give you don't have to pay for it. That's the rule. If they run out, it's free.
There you go. That's the key.
Yep, that's it.
This venue does serve, normal craft beer in cans, so you will be so that will be their part of the open bar, anyways.
Oscar Blue Ten Fidy.
By the way,
getting at a 4 1/4. Yeah.
Let's swing back around. Have you guys tasted anything different in the beer?
A little bit. I mean, I definitely get the booze is the bourbon flavor is less for me, and it is a little bit more sweet on the beginning. Other than that, it's still a pretty solid beer.
I'm getting a lot more strong oak notes.
Yeah,
for sure as it warms up.
So, but it's good.
Yeah. So, real quick before we move on, I just wanted to circle back. Have you decided what craft beers you're having at your wedding, Todd?
No.
Are they going to be a surprise for the guests?
Well, so I don't know what they can get. So yes, they're going to be. Okay. We're going to go with it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise to me too.
If I had to pick what craft beers I think you should have at your wedding, I would say Sip for sure would be the one, and then I would do maybe like what's a good like Belgian or farmhouse style. That would be a good complement to that.
Can I get a Fox Farm beer?
I don't know. I don't think so. It's your wedding. You can cry if you want to.
Kent Falls beer.
You can.
Another IPA to go to could be like Hashtag or Too Juicy, just because they're made in the state.
What's the flagship for Beard? They're Belgian.
They're Belgian?
Oh, they're
unfiltered wheat. The wit beer.
Yeah.
Is it Whiskered Wit?
Yeah, the Whiskered Wit. That would be a good one to have. You could probably easily get a log of that.
Or I could just get 2 IPAs and just say, if you want a Belgian, order a Blue Moon.
Go F yourself.
I mean, Blue Moon's there. So.
Yeah.
And Blue Moon's great. So
it is one of the 2 beers I refuse to drink. So
what's the other beer that you refuse to drink?
Natty Ice.
Why do you refuse to drink Blue Moon? This is interesting.
It's just too orangey. It's too much orange for me.
Don't put an orange in it.
They come that way. I can't help it. Sometimes a Blue Moon shows up in front of me and there's an orange in it and I have to politely decline it and be like, I refuse to drink this beer. It's on Natty Ice category with me.
Just say, I'll take a Blue Moon, hold the orange.
Yeah, I would never do that. I only end up in situations where accidentally a Blue Moon has been granted to me. I never order it. I never choose the Blue Moon.
So because you don't want to drink Blue Moon, I have to go out and buy a fancy Blue Moon for you to drink at my wedding.
No, I was just trying to come up with a good, well-rounded craft beer choices.
Oh, okay.
Like, no one's going to be like, oh, you have this craft IPA? No, I want the other, I don't want that. I want the other craft IPA. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Like, if you have one, they're going to be satisfied. And okay.
What about like a stout or a porter?
Yeah.
Like something like that.
You need the triangle. You need the 3.
It's going to be July.
Okay, a shandy then. I don't know.
Ooh.
I'm trying to...
We could do a shandy. That's a good call.
Or something like that. Yeah, because...
That's a log of like Lagunitas. Not Lagunitas. Leinenkugel.
Yeah, Leinenkugel. Yeah. What you could do is you could do like you'd have to do some research, but you could get a beer, like, I don't know, I can't think of one off the top of my head, and then like mix it with soda water to make
your own shandy.
A shandy, yeah.
With lemonade or something, yeah.
Yeah, mix it with like a lemonade.
Well, for the price point, I think the Narragansett Dell's lemonade shandy would be...
I won't, no, it won't be there.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think it's great for the first sip. Like, it's pretty good sip.
What about the rest of the glass?
Yeah, right. You have 16 of them. You have to drink. Those Narragansett like gimmick beers, I can't get behind. I don't know. I mean, there was one a couple years ago. They might still make it. The Autocrat Coffee Milk Stout.
They still make it.
And everybody was like, "Oh my god, you got to try this, that, and the other thing." I went and got it. It was like They sat in my fridge until I drain poured them.
Oh.
I had one, and then they sat in my fridge.
They,
so, I don't know.
This past summer, they did come out with an IPA, and I'm not going to lie, the IPA is actually pretty good. It's something I would recommend that for you both to buy if you saw it, because it's that
try
good.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to like knock your socks. It's not a treehouse beer.
We're talking 3.5, 3.75 territory here.
I mean, you probably 3.75. Depending on how drunk you are, it could be a 4.
Okay,
that's fair.
It's just a solid drinking beer.
Welcome to Fact Checking Tud Alone with Friends, where we go and see how he rates Narragansett IPA.
It's a podcast within a podcast.
But yeah, the Del Shandy will not be at my wedding. You're right though. Maybe 2 IPAs is not the way to go.
Is it It's About Time
you'll
IPA
run out 'cause I'll
or
drink it
Town
all,
Beach
but...
Day Pass IPA?
I think it's About Time. Is it a red can?
Yeah,
that's the one.
I have 2 ratings for my friends. Tud says here, I'm a little drunk rating this, and then 4.0. So look at that.
That's awesome.
Actually, you know what? It's funny because the check-in is from Dunkin' Donuts Park, so you probably were a little drunk when you rated it.
Yep. I was at a Yard Goats game.
There we go.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm so happy. I'm so happy that exists right now.
That's the best fact check ever.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Untapped, honestly.
Oh man, I think it's time, folks. I think it's time to loft our 3-handled mug of wisdom, our frosty mug of wisdom that is now filled with what?
Ten Fidy.
48 ounces of Ten Fidy. So we'd like to, walk you through some life hacks, some fun things, some things to look into to make your life a little bit better. Hold you over for a week for one more episode of Drinking Alone with Friends.
Might as well start then.
Who wants? Oh, you want me to start? Okay, I'll start. So my handle this week is something that when I was staying with a friend while I was working in North Carolina before we moved out here, they had these in their house, and I went out and bought one today. Well, actually, 2 today. And that is motion-activated nightlights.
Nice.
Yes. So, now, they don't turn on unless you walk by them.
Right. And the reason I did this was because I work second shift now. So when I get home, it's 12:30, 1 o'clock, and Dana's already asleep. And I hate leaving lights on around the house or turning lights on when people are sleeping. I try not to, wake them. So I get these motion-activated nightlights. Just put them in today. So we'll see how they work tomorrow. But, all signs are pointing to good right now. And, you can go in, you can brush your teeth, you can go to the bathroom, whatever, and get ready for bed and not have to turn on lights and be careful and close doors and creak and blah, 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 blah. So it's a small life hack, but I feel like it's going to make a big difference in my life. And if folks are working second shift and don't want to wake people up, then it might make a difference in yours as well. So pretty cool, neat life hack for you. And they're pretty inexpensive. I mean, they're like $7 or $10 at Walmart.
Well, that's not bad.
So, no, yeah, totally worth it.
Yeah, I'm buying one right now.
All right,
$7.97 for this GE one on Amazon.
I just noticed. Okay. I did notice that your screen changed because your face got brighter. So I was like, oh, he's on a website now.
You just got to make sure they're motion activated because some of them go off, go on automatically when you turn off the lights.
Oh yeah, nope, motion activated. That's what I searched for. It'll be here before the podcast airs. So
sweet, yeah, perfect. There you go. So that's it. That's your first handle on this frosty mug of wisdom. Who wants the second one?
Now, Obert, when Amazon delivers to you, does that come by horse, by donkey, carrier pigeon?
It depends on what how heavy it is. For a nightlight like this, probably a pigeon will deliver it.
Okay.
Sometimes, drones have to come in and drop it in the remote mountainous area that I live. But other times, yeah, if it's too big, yeah, horse and buggies, the normal method that Prime shows up in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'll go now. I actually saw a really great band. I think I sent both of you a link. I saw a really good, cool band last night. Called Steve and Seagulls, like Steven Seagal, but
Oh, I get it.
That's really good.
And they are a Finnish bluegrass cover band. and they play covers of hard rock and metal songs. And
in bluegrass?
Yeah. And we'll put in the show notes the link to them playing Thunderstruck from AC/DC. It's, these guys like on a farm, somebody's like hitting an anvil with a wrench to be like the thunder. It's like, it's so good. They rocked the house. They were such a good band. They're touring all over the country, the States. Definitely one of the best shows I've seen here. And I bought a CD of theirs. I bought their newest CD. Listened to it this morning. It's pretty good. Their cover of Panama from I think it's Van Halen.
Yes.
Yep.
Really good.
Nice.
On this CD.
That's awesome.
I love how you bought a CD.
Yeah.
You would just stop and take. Like, I'm shocked you still have a CD player.
Well,
like, I don't even think my car has a CD player.
This
anymore.
CD will live in my car. Yeah. I sometimes you don't have radio signal. You're at a podcast. You just want to forward a CD. No, I have this one.
That's pretty impressive when you think you have to listen to 31 episodes of Drinking Alone with Friends before you're at a podcast. I assume just everybody re-downloads them when they're over.
Yeah, you just start at one again. That's what I normally do.
Yeah, it just keeps looping.
But only because I love my voice. And obviously your two voices. They're so sexy.
He turns it down every time we talk.
Yeah.
It's
just a constant button rotation.
No lie, I have the tracks saved of my own voice, so it's just I can just hear the long pauses when you guys are talking. Yeah.
Oh, this is the bad parts.
No, Steven Seagal.
That's cool.
If we had the copyright rights, I would be playing. You'd be listening to them right now, but we don't. So instead,
are they coming to Connecticut anytime soon?
Unfortunately, they're just doing their Western tour.
Okay.
They're not going anywhere east of Arkansas on this tour currently.
Arkansas, that's a state you don't hear of much.
No, but yeah, they rocked the house down, and I don't know if it was just because they're from a cold, snowy country with a lot of farms, and they came to Montana where it's cold and snowy with a lot of farms, but. We really love their music. It was a lot of fun.
You just felt each other on like an emotional presence.
We did.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Same way.
So I hate to intrude on your handle a little bit, but your Steven Seagal, or however it was pronounced, reminded me of a beer I had today. I went to Fourth Creek Brewing here in Statesville. Shout out to Gary. He was one of the brewers / the guy that served me my flights. And they have a hazy IPA called Patrick Swayze.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Was it good?
So
did it live up to the name?
Oh, sorry, Gary. It was good, but not Patrick Swayze good.
I mean, it's a killer name. It's a really good name.
It is
great name.
Listen,
the name's a 5 out of 5.
Sometimes names sell the beer alone. So.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it was good. It just wasn't Patrick Swayze good.
I mean, that's a tall order.
It is. It's very good.
All right, Todd, take us home.
Anyways.
All right.
Third handle.
So my handle this week is going to be the new movie that came out on Netflix. I think it came out last weekend, called The Dirt, which is the story of Motley Crue.
Oh, I thought this was the prequel to Joe Dirt.
No.
Nope, where he came from.
Yeah.
I think they showed that in the movie, where he comes from.
Yeah. I think that's a big plot point of the movie.
So The Dirt is a book that the 4 members of Motley Crue all wrote together, basically telling of their times being a band. And for a while, it was going to be like a big motion picture. It was going to be in all movie theaters and blah, 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 blah. And they had a whole bunch of issues with the script and the director. So it ended up getting canceled, and Netflix paid for it to be reworked, redone, and shot for them and put on their platform. So we watched it. It's awesome. I'm a huge Motley Crue fan. So
what's the best Motley Crue song?
My favorite is Kickstart My Heart.
I mean, that's an awesome one.
That's a good one.
Wild Side's another good one. Motley Crue is awesome. They're like the first band that dressed like women, I guess, is like the only way I can describe it. Like they did their hair and hairspray and wore like leopard print and all that type of stuff. The stuff that like you see like rock bands nowadays wear, and you're like, besides the hairspray, and you're like, oh, that's a rock look. They brought that all. They were like the world's most notorious band.
I feel like Kiss like kind of did those kinds of things before them.
Well, that was Kiss is way over the top. though. That's Motley Crue's, like, you could see their face. They weren't, like, dressed as demons.
Okay, so basically, like, any 80s hair band is what you're describing.
But
But
he's
Motley
saying they
Crue
were the
was, like-
first hair band.
They were,
They were
like, the first hair band, if
okay.
that makes sense.
And this is what they said in the movie.
No,
Okay.
I know this to be... No, I know this because I've looked this up. The movie is basically...
What
it's just,
about Kiss? Have you heard of Kiss? Because they've been around for a long time. And
but
they
were
kind
not...
of
They're not a hair band. They're from the 70s.
They're from like the
Different.
60s.
Did they come out in the 60s?
I don't know.
All right.
I
Anyways.
think they're from the 40s.
Anyways, go check out The Dirt. It's about 2 hours long. It's a great movie. There's great music in it. It doesn't cover the whole book. Obviously, the book is like 1,000 pages. Covering it in a 2-hour movie wasn't possible. I also recommend going to read the book. So this is kind of like a double handle. I'm going to say The Dirt, both the movie and the book. Go pick it up, read it, and watch it on Netflix.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch it.
Oh yeah, me too. For sure.
It sounds like, I mean, I love Motley Crue. It's one of those bands that, like, I don't know, I never got, like, hardcore into, but, like, I really enjoy every song I hear from them. So, like, I don't know. They're, like, in a weird spot for me on music. Like, I like them a lot, but I never listened to all of their albums.
So it's kind of like you'd be pleasantly
interesting.
surprised if you learned more about them on Netflix.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's where I'm at.
Exact
too.
level.
Yeah. Like they're a band that I would be surprised by a lot of the facts that people who are hardcore listeners of them all like know all this stuff. For me, it'd be like, oh, I didn't know that, and I didn't know that, and I didn't know that. You know?
Yeah, it's they were my first rock band that I saw in concert.
Oh,
my
no
first
way.
concert was my first concert was Britney Spears. My second concert was Motley Crue, and it was just awesome. So I've seen them, I think, like 8 or 9 or 10 times. They don't tour anymore.
No way!
So-
I didn't know you saw them that many times.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well,
Who
that's a
puts
good
on a
handle.
better
Then.
show? Britney Spears or Motley Crue?
Motley Crue, definitely. There's a lot more action at a Motley Crue show.
Which one of them has a residency in Las Vegas?
I think Motley Crue did one. Does Britney Spears have a residency now in Las Vegas?
She did. I don't know if she's. I think she had to take a little break, but she was there for a couple of years. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, quite a while actually. Yeah.
All right. So with that, we'd like to thank you all for listening. We'd like to thank Oscar Blues for their 10 Fidy Barrel Aged Imperial Stout.
Are you guys done?
No.
Yeah, I'm done.
You killed it?
Yeah, it's gone.
Wow.
It's gone.
I'm pretty close.
Oh, I gotta catch up. I have about 5 ounces, 6 ounces.
Yeah, I was
left.
gonna say I was thinking about getting another beer.
Please follow us on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Untapped at DAWF Podcast. Hashtag follow the email at DAWFpodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you send your thoughts, concerns, hatred, general, if you're sitting on the toilet taking
General
a poop,
thoughts.
sitting on the toilet taking a poop, you want to send us an email, go ahead and do that.
I don't want concerns.
No, I want concerns.
Okay.
And by the way, and make sure that you're emailing us in for both the questions that we asked in this episode. We had Obert's trivia question about Lewis and Clark,
Yeah.
and we had how fast have you gone down Ross Hill Road in Lisbon, Connecticut?
We want to know the answer to both of those.
Correct. Those are
For
two
sure.
questions that we want answers to. Don't cheat and answer the Lewis and Clark question by using Google.
You know what? I'm curious what hashtag Mama the Pod is going to answer that second question as.
I
Yeah.
think she got pulled over on Ross Hill Road for speeding, so probably pretty fast.
Ooh, okay.
And,
all right.
And
all right.
we don't. By the way, we don't advocate speeding on Rosso Road. By the way, but you still have time to set a record and email in. Just saying.
There'll be a leaderboard, an ongoing leaderboard.
We want to give a special shout out to James Vakovic Designs for designing not only our logo, but the Marital Discord logo as well. I believe Marital Discord is coming back.
It is coming back. When is still up in the air. We're still like kind of in a unboxing phase. So
Untoting.
give us, yeah. If you give us a couple more weeks, we'll be coming back. So go on, listen to the back episodes. I listen to them a lot on my drive to and from North Carolina. They're really good. They're funny. So check them out. We'll be back in a couple weeks.
Okay, so as everybody knows, we now have 1,000 followers on Instagram. Thank you very much for everybody going on and liking that. We are going to be starting the contest for Obert's giveaway tomorrow, April 5th, and it's going to run for 2 weeks until April 19th. and then on the next episode, you will hear us announce the winner, and then Obert will be contacting the winner, and we'll send out the stuff.
Yeah, I'm real excited. We have a bunch of beers that I reviewed here on the podcast. To win, you do have to be 21 years or older, and you do have to be in the United States. Those are the two rules we have. But yeah, if you look at the picture we're going to post on the Instagram, I think at least 6 or 7 of the beers I reviewed on this show. So if you want some of these delicious Montana beers, now's your chance.
You sent me the picture today, and I was like, "Damn! I wonder if my personal account wins. If anybody would know."
Yeah, I don't think co-hosts are allowed to win, but
the winner is Marital Discord. Woo, weird.
Hey,
yeah.
hey, you know who can win though? Significant others can win.
I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. I don't think they can. I think that's kind of shady. It's shady business.
You know who can win?
Moms of the pod.
Moms of the pod and brothers of the pod.
Yeah, okay. I'll allow them to enter. Yes,
sisters of the pod too.
Okay, oh, there you go.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You can't use your nieces and nephews though. That's not allowed.
That's true.
Well, one of them is like 5 days old.
Good point.
Already on Instagram.
Yep.
And do you guys have anything else to add to this?
I do. One thing I wanted to fit in this episode, but I didn't have a chance before now, was as of today, the day this podcast is released, I've been in Montana for 1 year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Can I boo that? Boo.
Yeah, you can.
Boo.
And I'll keep it short because I know we're trying to wrap up here, but I love it here. I love Montana. Montana is the best place in the world.
For you.
For me. Definitely the best place in the world for me. It's been an incredible year. I'm really looking forward to year number 2. And I just wanted to put that into the universe on this podcast.
That's really cool. That's really exciting. We were talking about it, and I hadn't even been in Tennessee a year before I moved. So
you were close. You were at 363 days.
Yeah, it was really close, but
clearly Tennessee was not the place
that's
for
really
you.
Cool. Happy Montana-versary.
Thank you.
Obert.
It means it means a lot to me this day. When this podcast is going to be released, I'll take myself out for a nice dinner somewhere. I've made it for a year. Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
You've survived.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, my name's Tud.
My name's Chris.
And I'm Obert. And remember, if you're drinking alone, do it with friends.
Chris, you didn't get a Tennessee anniversary.
No, I did not get a Tennessee anniversary. I betrayed Tennessee.
which is sad because I thought you loved Tennessee.
I do. I still do love Tennessee. But anybody who's going to